Hey everybody, this is your shoe girl, Marian Elizabeth. I just wanted to share with you a few tips, relationship tips that I got from some of my shoe girls that I talked to. And I asked them the question, do you have any standards for your relationships with your male friends, boyfriends? And they looked at me like, standards? What do you mean by standards? So I explained to them what standards meant, what I meant by standards. Do you have any boundaries, any requirements for your relationships that are non-negotiable? And they came up with about 6 or 7 standards that I would like to share for the rest of my shoe girls, my teenage shoe girls, in the hopes that you have these same standards or that you will adopt them for your relationships. The first standard was, he has to be cute. And I smile, they laugh, they giggle, which is fine. That's a good standard. I mean, everybody wants to be attracted to the person that they're with. But what I told them along with that standard is just keep in mind that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And what's cute to some may not be cute to others, but that was their standard. So then they talked about, okay, he has to be interested in me and me only, and no other girl. So I thought, that's a good standard to have. Another standard was he has to be honest. And this one kind of surprised me. The next one kind of surprised me a little. But a lot of the girls said he has to be clean. That was very important to them. That surprised me a little, but I was very glad to hear that they wanted a young man who was clean. That was a standard for them, and they were not willing to negotiate on that. Next standard they had was that I have to feel safe around this young man. And I thought, wow, that really gripped my heart because of all of the domestic violence that's going on in our community now, and all of the young girls who deal with boys who are verbally and physically abusive to them. So the fact that they had this as a standard and a non-negotiable standard, that he has to be non-abusive both verbally and physically, was, that really made me feel really, really good. But then one of my other girls had a standard that he can't smoke and he can't do drugs. And I'm like, yes. They don't do drugs, they don't smoke, and they want to have someone in their life who has that same, characteristic. So I was really, really happy with that one. And then finally, they had a standard that the young man has to have some goals. He has to either want to go to college or get some kind of training, something beyond high school. And I thought, wow, what a standard to have and to set for yourself as a teenager. So, at the end of the discussion, what it boiled down to, and I told my girls, if you don't have any standards, then you leave yourself open for anything, and to be treated any kind of way. So it's critical to set some standards. If you don't have any, then sit down and write some out. Think about and determine what makes you happy, when you feel your happiest, and then write your standards out based on that. And then I told them, if you have some, then go back and look at them and perhaps revisit them. Perhaps you need to rewrite them. Perhaps this particular standard is not as important to you now in your life as it was before. So go back and revisit your standards. What I found, and I share with my girls, from my heart, what I found is that oftentimes we compromise, we as women and girls, we compromise on our standards because we're so desperate to be in a relationship. And there's almost a fear there that if we don't compromise, or if we don't kind of put some of our standards sometimes on the back burner, we'll lose the relationship, the person won't like us, they won't want to be with us, and so we find ourselves compromising and putting our standards to the side. But I have a quote that I want to read to you that really captured it for me, and I share this with my young ladies. It says, never apologize for having high standards. People who really want to be in your life will rise to meet them. And I felt, nothing says it better than this. You don't apologize for having standards. If somebody else thinks that your standards are too high, that's their problem, not yours. These are your standards and things that you have set for yourself, and they're not negotiable. So, if you set the standards and you tell yourself, remind yourself repeatedly, whatever the relationship is that you're in, and whatever time that you're in a relationship in your life, these are not negotiable for me. But as long as your standards are fair and ethical, don't budge, don't move on them. I promise you that you will have many choices in relationships. You'll be able to, find many choices as long as you set those standards. You'll meet somebody who is able to step up and rise up to the occasion and have a desire to be with you regardless of what your standards are. So this is Marian Elizabeth again, your shoe girl. Visit us at www.shoe-girl.org and come see what we're all about. Thank you. Talk to you soon.